Okay, so today we're gonna dive into communication.
Mm.
And you recently shared some really insightful materials on this topic.
Yeah.
And we kind of pulled out five
Yeah.
powerful tips that can really help someone become a better communicator instantly.
Yeah.
And the goal today is to kind of unpack these and show you how you can use them immediately to see a real difference in how you connect with others.
Exactly. And I think that's the key takeaway is how to immediately apply these without getting lost in theory.
Yeah.
These are 5 very concrete techniques, and I'm excited to talk about them.
Absolutely. And, if you've ever left a conversation and felt like you weren't quite heard,
Yeah,
or if you've ever wanted to just better connect with someone, these insights are for you.
for sure.
These are
Yeah.
really small, intentional shifts that can have a huge impact on how you communicate.
Yeah. And I think that's what's great about the script that you send over to me is that it really does focus on the application.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do today, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's jump into the first one.
Okay.
And this is called the 2-second rule.
Okay.
And what's interesting is this idea of how often we listen to respond rather than truly understand,
Okay. Yeah. I think we've all been there
right?
where you're in a conversation and you're already thinking of your response before the other person has even finished.
Exactly.
You're just waiting to jump in with your brilliant insight.
It's so automatic, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah.
And the 2-second rule is a counter to that.
Okay.
It basically means that after someone has finished speaking, you pause for 2 full seconds.
2 seconds, huh?
2 seconds, yeah.
In a conversation that can feel like a really long time.
It can feel like an eternity.
Yeah.
But the advantages are huge.
Okay.
First, it makes you appear more thoughtful
Okay.
because you're signaling that you're genuinely considering what they just said.
Right.
You're not just waiting to jump in.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that, like, when someone pauses for a second before they respond, they almost seem more insightful?
Absolutely. It gives the impression that they're really considering what you just said.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the first benefit.
Yeah. The second one is it reduces interruptions,
Oh.
which is huge because we've all been there where someone has cut us off
Oh.
or we've cut someone off.
Yeah.
And it can derail a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And that 2-second gap just gives people a little bit of space to finish their thought.
Okay. So really allowing everyone to feel heard.
Exactly.
Okay. And the third benefit.
The third benefit is that it gives you time to formulate a better response.
Oh.
Instead of just saying the first thing that pops into your head.
Right. Just blurting something out.
You can really take a moment to think about what you want to say.
Okay. So you come across as more thoughtful, you reduce interruptions, and you give yourself a chance to respond more effectively.
It's a simple tweak with a huge impact.
Yeah. The script even mentions that this can instantly make you seem more charismatic.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff.
Okay. So let's move on to the next tip. And this one is about the power of the pause.
Yes, and this time it's about using the pause within your own speech.
Okay, so instead of that reactive pause after someone else speaks,
Right,
this is a proactive pause when you were speaking.
exactly. And I think one of the interesting things that your material highlighted was
Hmm.
how great speakers use pauses really strategically.
Yeah,
Think about people like Barack Obama or Oprah Winfrey.
right.
They don't just fill every gap with ums and ahs and likes.
Yeah.
They use silence. They're
Yeah.
comfortable with it.
Have you ever noticed, like, when a speaker pauses, it kind of draws you in?
Absolutely.
There's this sense of anticipation, like something important is about to be said.
It's like they're giving their words more weight.
Yeah.
And it also projects confidence.
Right, because when someone uses a lot of filler words, it can make them sound hesitant.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the pause can really communicate authority.
Yeah, like you're in control.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the power of the pause.
Yeah, let's move on to the third tip, which is mirroring and labeling.
Mirroring, is that like subtly imitating someone's body language?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
So it's about matching their posture, their gestures, maybe their tone of voice.
Okay.
And it creates a sense of rapport.
Yeah, I've heard that we tend to like people who are similar to us.
Right.
So this kind of tacks into that.
Exactly. And then the second part of this is labeling,
Labeling.
which is where you verbally acknowledge someone's emotions.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, if you sense that someone's frustrated,
Yeah.
you might say something like, "It sounds like you're feeling frustrated. Tell me more."
Okay, so you're not just noticing the emotion, but you're actually naming it.
Right.
Okay. And how does that help build trust?
It shows them that you're not just hearing their words, but you're also attuned to how they're feeling,
Oh, okay.
which could be really powerful.
Yeah, it's like saying, I see you and I'm here for you.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's a great way to build connection quickly.
Okay, let's move on to the next tip.
Okay, this one's a fun one. It's called the yes and technique.
Yes. And this is from improv comedy, right?
It is.
Yeah. I think one of the articles you sent me mentioned that.
And it's really effective for fostering creativity and collaboration.
Okay.
So the idea is that instead of using the word but, which kind of negates everything that came before it,
Right.
you use yes and.
Okay, so instead of saying, I like your idea, but it's not feasible,
Right.
you would say yes, and we could also explore ways to make it more feasible.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So it keeps the conversation flowing,
Right.
and it makes the other person feel valued.
Yeah, because but can sound kind of dismissive.
It can, even if you don't mean it that way.
Right, right.
So yes and really creates a more positive environment.
It's about adding to the conversation, not subtracting.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that a lot.
It's a game changer.
And the fifth and final tip.
This one is all about clarity.
Okay.
It's the one-sentence summary.
Oh, I think I've definitely been in situations where I wish the speaker had used this one.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
So the challenge is that when we ramble on without a clear point,
Yeah,
we risk losing our audience.
right.
And the solution is to clarify your core message before you even start speaking.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what's the one thing I want them to remember?
Oh, okay.
And then try to convey that message in 10 words or less.
10 words or less. Wow. Okay.
It forces you to get to the essence of what you want to say.
Okay.
So instead of saying something vague like, I think maybe we should consider looking into some different options for things.
Yeah.
You would say something like, let's cut costs by switching vendors. It saves 20%.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Much more impactful.
The second one is so much clearer.
Exactly.
There's no ambiguity.
And that's the power of the one-sentence summary.
Okay, so just to recap for our listener today, we've covered 5 communication techniques.
Yes.
The 2-second rule, the power of the pause, mirroring, and labeling, yes, and the one-sentence summary.
And these are all things that you can start using today.
Yeah, you don't need to study them for months.
Nope, just pick one and try it out.
Yeah, and, thinking about our listeners specifically,
Yeah.
how might even just using one of these tips change the dynamics of your next conversation?
Right. What would happen if you just started pausing for 2 seconds after someone spoke?
Yeah, or if you started using yes and more.
Exactly.
It's interesting to think about.
It really is. And I think it highlights that communication is a skill.
Yeah.
It's something that we can all get better at.
And these 5 tips are a great place to start.
They really are.
Well, this has been a great deep dive.
It has.
Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you next time on the deep dive.
See you then.
Bye.